everybody. Welcome to Nerdz Garage. Suzanne here, and we're seeing what the nerds are doing in the garage. We're going to highlight artists, designers, and people who are interning with us, that what they're doing in the garage, and we just to show the vast creativity that are now in the garage with us. Today, we are so happy to introduce Emmanuel Baez. Welcome.
Uh,
Thank you for joining us today.
no, thank you for having me. It's an honor, definitely. I'm glad that you guys was able to hit me up and be a part of this.
All right, so I think we have the most unique way that we met. There
Yes.
was this is when the Nerds Garage was living in Florida, and we went to a convention in Orlando. It was a gaming convention,
Right, right,
and
right.
it was one of the smaller ones, and it was before, all the COVID and everything.
Right, right,
And
exactly.
it was before Christmas because I remember thinking, while I'm here, I want to look for gifts because there are.
Yes.
My son was at Full Sail at the time and
Okay.
playing D&D with six gentlemen, other students, and they'd been at our house every Sunday for 3 years, and I wanted to get a
Whoa.
gift. And oh, that dragon was one of them. I thought, well, I'll get everybody a dragon. And I was looking at that, and then I turned around, and what kind of, you were selling some kind of illustration.
Right, right, right. I remember, I do remember, I remember you was walking by, like you said, you had the dragons. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And we started talking, and I had like my little artwork spread out on the table. I'm like, starting out, and I'm like, oh, and you started asking me questions about my artwork. I'm like, oh yes, babe. I hope she's the first client, please.
uh,
But
and then I said,
yeah,
do you do D&D work?
right, right,
Are we
right, right, right.
familiar?
Right, right. I don't remember if I had D&D work. I think I did have a sample or two. But that's when you came in, that's when I had actually was introduced to D&D. And my friends,
Really?
yeah, and my friends like, man, like, dude, wait, why don't you just, draw D&D stuff? There's a whole market for that. And you came like at the right time. It's like,
It was absolutely kismet because all right, I've gone through some artists in my life, and there's some artists that you click with and some you don't. And everything you have done, I feel like you understand. Like, if I can't even say it, you get it. I think we get along very well together. All right. So the first
definitely.
thing I asked was, can you do a illustration of all the D&D characters? And I asked all the players to just
Right, I
send you
remember.
their, some were very like pages long description, da 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 da. And you did each one separately, which was a gift for them. Then I said, can you do them all together? And I'm just going to show this. And I will be flying all the pictures.
Oh wow. Yes. That was definitely a fun piece to do. Oh my god, that looks awesome. It feels
And
so weird to see like your stuff printed out, and it looks
oh
awesome.
yeah, it was all canvas art and framed
Oh
art, and it was
wow.
at Christmas, and we gave it to everybody. And what's kind of cool is that they're ending after it's 4 years now. It's to the end of
Oh
the
wow.
campaign, and and it was just nice that you're part of it, and they had that, and the process that you have is so unique that we give you what's in our head, and you come back and you're okay with, I don't know how many times I'm like, take, do this, do that, do that, and you're so good at at hearing what I'm saying and not like, no, this is how it is, ma'am.
I mean, ever since, I've been a person as a kid, like with a very vivid imagination, and and as I grew older, and starting this whole art journey, I started focusing a lot more first, not just in the art, but what like verbalizing whatever ideas people had. Like I try to see it in my head as a movie, or if it was already made, and that usually helps me out to visualize, to get as close as possible, or or more than what the person is requesting.
So, when did you start? Are you professionally trained or is it natural? When did you start drawing?
Wow. Seriously, honestly, I mean, as far as I could remember, I was old enough to even hold a crayon, and like it never stopped. And,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, it's like everywhere as a young, child, like everywhere I went, it doesn't matter if it was in a doctor's appointment or school, like I always had a pencil and a paper to draw. So it's like I never stopped drawing. It was my passion. But as a starting selling and stuff like that, I guess I would say maybe like 2 years. 2 years. That's when I really started. Man, I think I should sell my artwork. But it's a long journey.
All
But
right.
I've
So
been drawing
what
since forever.
what brought you to that con to buy a table and start pitching to
Um, I had my friend of mine. I have a friend of mine here in Orlando. His name is Carlos, and we met at where I was used to work at Four Seasons, and we became friends. He was the one that started pushing me. And like, bro, like, what are you doing with your artwork? Are you doing anything? Like, no, not really, just drawing. Yeah. So he started telling me, man, look, there's cons here, conventions in Florida, man. Let's start getting your artwork together. So he was definitely like my push, like, come on, let's get your stuff together. And I started going to these, the local places, and that's how I started.
and your style. There's some artists that obviously I follow you on social media and I see you've been doing some logos for other people that
Mhm.
you don't do the same thing with just different aspects. You seem to have a wide variety of vision when you work.
Yeah, I mean, as a child, like I was influenced by like so many different things, anime, cartoons,
All right,
comic art.
so what's your favorite anime?
Wow, that's a good
All
one.
right, way back then and way now.
Well, way back then would be Dragon Ball Z. That's
Oh
that's,
yeah.
yeah, that's good. It's like typical. But then I got introduced. Started with Inuyasha. I mean Inuyasha. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Um, Ghost in the Shell,
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that. Um, what else? Man, I can't think on top of my head, but there's like so many of them that I don't really have a favorite. And so like I started just picking out, just like, oh, I like that, I like this, I like this. So
So
it's
so is this something like you just are bored and you start drawing, or if like you're feeling like an emotion, do you go to drawing, or is it just something you just do?
um a little bit of both, honestly, to be honest. There's I mean, there's times where I do it a lot of times to escape reality.
Hmm.
Like and I just start randomly drawing random stuff to get the creative juices going. Sometimes I draw uh out of emotion, you know, but mostly I'm just drawing all the time, regardless what the situation might be.
So even I know this last year for me, it was very hard to do interviews, do reviews, do anything. Were you
Right.
able to keep up the creativity during the year that wasn't last year?
Um, well, honestly, not really. I mean, as the world knows, things got real tough with the whole COVID and stuff like that, and that affected me a lot. You know, especially with the passing of my father and my aunt, and like so many stuff going
Was
on.
that from COVID?
My aunt died from COVID.
I'm so
Um,
sorry.
my and then 2 months later, my dad died of heart complications, and it was just I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't like that was like my blackest moment where I couldn't even draw. It's just the world just paused for me. So it was real. It was been a real tough year to do anything
Yeah,
creatively.
I can absolutely relate. The no energy, no putting like right now putting sentences together. I just couldn't do it. And then we the reason why I contacted you, we are my son graduated and is creating a game and a radio play, and we
Oh,
needed
nice.
art. And that's I'm like, well, let's see what Manny's up to. And I was just so thrilled that you were available because you nail it every time.
Ah, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I love, I mean, it also, I mean, the details also helps a lot. Like you guys are really details with how you guys want things. So that really helps out a lot. Like I love the way you guys detail. Like I want to like this, I want that. So that just helps my visual. Just like, okay, I see it. Like, okay, let's do that.
We are a garage full of actors, writers, D&D
That's
players,
awesome. That's
game
awesome.
designers. Yes,
That's
very
awesome.
very descriptive, and we know what we want.
That's awesome. It definitely it helps. It helps. And I'm glad that I'm able to like put it out there in paper or digital.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what you did, we're doing The Long Rest, which is going to be a radio play, which is set in the D&D genre in between the adventures, set at a tavern. And we really needed to really just speak to what it was, that it is fresh and comical, but it is not da, 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 it's not the adventure. It's more like
Right.
Arrested Development, a cyclical comedic show, and the you did our, and I will, once it is finished, I'll splash it up here.
Oh yeah,
Did
yeah,
our logo
definitely.
for that, and and when we get all our voice actors, I'm hoping that you will do uh, all their characters, which wizard, gnome, dwarf, sorcerer,
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
bard,
yeah, yeah.
with some semblance of what they look like too.
Right, right,
Because it
right,
is
right.
a radio play, it's nice to have the visuals to go along with it.
Oh, I agree. I agree. It's like as soon as when you requested that logo, like I I'm such a weirdo. Like I imagine myself and and these time with back in D&D on those medieval times, and I'm literally
Yeah.
walking down the stone floors and stuff like that. I'm looking up and I'm looking at the sign, and I was like, okay, that's what it's gonna look like. Like like I have to go full in to really like get into the artwork.
And you're so fast with your turnaround too. That's what I love about you. And like I said before, you're so okay with just little tweaks here and there. Um, what are some of the things you've done in the past that you enjoy drawing for other people?
um, yeah, I've not so long ago I was doing an activity book for the Four Seasons, and that was definitely fun to do. For drawing because I love drawing like children art and stuff like that. So it was an activity book full of children activities and stuff like that. Logos. Recently I've been getting podcast logos. Those are fun to do, and
What's
you know
that?
podcast logos
Yeah.
logos for podcasts,
Oh, okay.
right? And I appreciate it because a lot of people they give me the liberty to okay, this is what I want, but you have the art liberty to do what you want. So that those have been fun. Those have been fun. Yeah.
So, what is the next steps for you in the future? Do you see? Do you have stuff coming up?
Yes. I'm actually planning to do an art book.
Great.
So I'm definitely it's still up here, But I'm definitely like, you know what? Let me get my artwork together and create an art book with all my drawings, ideas, my thoughts, process, and stuff like that. And just like introduce myself to the world that way, so people can, get to know me better as a person and as an artist. So that's definitely in the works.
So your process, tell me a little about that. Do you have to be in a quiet room? Do you have to uh, have a lot of, like, when I write, I like to have like comedy playing around me just so I get out of my head, because in my head sometimes it's like negative, negative, negative.
Mm, I try.
So what is your process?
I definitely have to have some type of motivated music, like
All
music,
right.
yeah,
Yeah. All right.
whether it's instrument.
What's your go-to?
Uh, well, a lot of the music that I've been hearing lately in YouTube are like instrumental, like they're called like epic, battle music or
Oh
whatever,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So I listen to those, and my mind goes like, I zone out, and that's how I usually get a lot of my creative juices through that. Just like it has to be good, motivated music that makes me visualize that I'm there. And anything that comes up, I'm like, goes from right here to the hand, into the pencil, into the paper.
So it's pen and paper, and then do you use one of those? I know that my son has one of those tablets that does the
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Which uh,
that
have
thing.
this? Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh.
My little, this is my little buddy right here. This is my so yeah, I've gone from like pencil and paper. Still do paper and pencil, but usually most of the stuff is digital now, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And technology has grown so much that, it's gotten somewhat close to the feel of paper and pencil. So, I got comfortable with that, definitely.
You're saying how you play the epic music. We obviously play a lot of games here all the time because that's what we do. We write about them, and we find that we put ourselves in the mood of the game. We try and find music to go along with the game. That's like the first thing you do. I used to put it in all my reviews, and I seem to forget it because I've been so much as I'm trying to catch up now because of the lack of last year. But
Right, right,
yeah,
right, right.
music is so important.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, and video game soundtracks. Those are great.
That's usually what my son pulls up, or my husband. Yeah.
Definitely, those help. Those help. Like I can't. I. It's funny. Like you mentioned earlier, if I needed a quiet place, I can't be in a quiet place because I don't know. It sounds funny because my mind starts wandering off, and it was like it's too quiet. Like what's going on? I was like, and then I get distracted. Like I need something to like zone in.
Right. Do you take a certain number of hours during the day to work, or do you just wait when the work comes, or when the muse finds you?
um, Usually, I don't have a definite time where I'm like specifically, okay, I'm gonna sit down and do artwork now. A lot of times it's like right as soon as I get off bed. You know, um, Especially because I'm sometimes I have these dreams, and I have to sit up and draw it, or like, oh, that was a cool idea. So
Oh,
like,
so cool.
yeah, that's one thing that's very therapeutic and helps my creativity. The dreams I have, I get
Vivid.
up. Yeah, they're very vivid, and I get a lot of my ideas from there. So sometimes I have to have this little journal where I write and draw my dreams out, which is gonna be part of which I'm thinking about putting in part of the art book as well. So it's like,
That sounds like a great idea.
so people will see like, oh, this is what I've been dreaming. This was in my head. Yeah.
So, like myself, other people that have asked you to make logos or personal artwork, and obviously it means so much to us when we get it. How do you feel creating it and then giving it away? Well, not giving it away, but handing it off.
Um, I mean, it's a great feeling because again, I mean, there's times where there's times where I'm like, oh man, that was some good stuff, but I do enjoy, like when a client or someone that I just having my artwork, they feel good or they feel satisfied or they're happy with it. So it's always a pleasure to see people happy with the end results.
And what is something that you've made that still sticks in your head that, wow, I really like that, or wow, I wanted to do something else?
Um, there was recently recently I created these like D&D coasters designs
What?
that yeah.
Do
Yeah, so
tell.
yes, yes. So I working closely um with my friend, and they also sell like candles and stuff like that, D&D inspired candles and items. And one of the stuff, one of the designs that I was involved in was doing coasters, D&D coasters for the classes, like for rangers
Where can one find this?
you can, that would be at the
I've heard of
craftygamers.com. and
them.
and yeah, man, they've been selling that stuff for a while now, and again, which is the same person that's been pushing me to sell my artwork out. So I've been working closely with them. You should definitely check them out. They got a lot of cool items in the coasters. The coasters
So,
are
do
cool.
you play D&D now?
I haven't
Not
started,
yet.
not yet. I I did end up creating a character. He is now don't hang me for this. I'm still don't know like the names and stuff like that. But
I'm with you.
he is a I guess is it a green dragon or a monk,
A monk.
right?
Okay.
And so has different styles of fighting and stuff like that. And so I'm working on that. Getting introduced. Like,
Well, after listening to it for 3.5 years of Sundays when the COVID hit and the lockdown, my husband, who hadn't played since he was in middle school and high school, wanted to
oh
get a
wow,
game together. And he got two friends from elementary school. I
oh
did
that's
it.
cool.
I know. And
What?
a year later, we're still playing. Myself, one of my old mentors, and she brought in a couple people, and my son, and we started playing. And I'd say three three played when they were young, and everybody else, besides my husband and my son, everybody else was brand new and figuring it out. And here it is a year later, and we're
Wow.
still playing. And I have to say, all those times I just listened, and I'm so happy doing it. So it's so much fun. It's nice to be able to do it with your family too.
Definitely. I mean,
Oh,
before I
that's
knew.
right. You drew my character,
Oh
Odettis.
yeah.
I love her so very much.
She was so fun to draw. It's like like I love it. Like her clothing and the description of her personality. I was
Yes,
like,
she's impulsive and a trickster, but I love Lucy. Lucia Ball has always been like an idol, so that's what she's kind of like. Kind of like smart, but just always getting in trouble. And you captured her perfectly. I love it. I
so
love
she's
it.
so she's okay. Let me get this right. Don't tell me that she's a tiefling.
She's a tiefling
Okay,
ranger,
okay, okay.
but she almost died in the Feywild, so she's
Oh
been
wow.
brought back to life. So she's got this in her. She's not a sorcerer, but she's got, like, we call it Fey hiccups. Like, whenever she does magic, there's an opportunity of like weird shit happening.
Oh
Excuse my
wow.
French. Like, I
That's
open
all
a
right.
potted plant, all of a sudden everybody's engulfed in water. So I actually do TikToks on it. I do confessionals as Odettis. Like, I'm so very sorry the DM's making me do these confessionals because all of a sudden everybody was involved in the water, and I'm so sorry about
That's how I
it.
see it. I totally see it. I totally see it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
We should have you guest in sometime. Just come in for a week to see what you think.
I would love that. I
That
would
would be
love
so
that. I
cool.
would love that. Again, I when I got introduced to D&D, I immediately like got caught up because the storytelling and all this imagination, still the possibility of this imagination, and it's just like it brings you into this world, like, and I'm like, I like this. I'm
It
like,
it it goes hand in hand with art because there's so many
yes,
times.
yes.
I can't wait for us to be famous because when we do this, I want somebody to draw like these little snippets that happen because my husband is so articulate of what you do with pen and paper and ink, he could do with words, and I'm like, oh, this needs
That
to be drawn.
that is so cool. That I would love to do that. They draw like little
All right,
specific scenarios.
oh my gosh, that would be so awesome. We need to make that, and you have to come in. My husband's a very good. He's very patient and he's very good at teaching. And then here it is a year later, and I'm still asking questions. And Odettis is
Awesome,
Odettis, so
awesome,
have
awesome, awesome.
it.
I would love to come and learn. Definitely, definitely.
All right. So if somebody wanted to, I'm obviously going to put the links, but what do you think? Who is the perfect person that for you to do? Like, who should be coming to you to do their art, or is it everybody because you're so bendy when it comes to art?
Um, yeah, I really um don't have a specific range of who can come and
That's the thing.
ask
I,
for.
I've seen your stuff. Some of your stuff, I don't want to say looks young, but you do logos, so it's obviously very hip and now. But then all my stuff is very D&D esque and very very in that genre. You seem to be able to cover the spectrum with you're very good. Your art ability is
Thank
off
you. I
the
appreciate
charts.
that. I really appreciate it. Again, like I've been influenced with so many different cartoon genres and stuff like that. It's just all mushed up in my head. So whatever, like again, whatever anyone is asking for, I try. Okay, I think I can do this. Okay, it's that style. Okay, I mean mix it with this.
And I can absolutely attest to that. I change my mind all the time, and you're just like, all right, lady, I'll do it again.
No, that's the me. No, I again, like I prefer people tell me, okay, this needs to be changed, because and I'm not just saying just to say, like I really want the person to be satisfied, with what they wanted. Like, oh man, this is what I wanted, like 100%. If it's not like that, then I'm not gonna be satisfied. I'm like, So it's good for people to keep telling me, okay, now can you change this? Can you do that? I'm really patient with that. It doesn't bother me.
All right, so the new logo, the Long Rest Tavern, which is the D&D radio play. We gave you an idea of what we wanted. You do some drawings, and we had said that we wanted the fire to be orange, and then you came back with a completely cool color, and I'm not going to say it, so people have to look for it. And it was like, all right, so there's a young gentleman that it is his idea, and I'm just producing and helping write. So I said, and I obviously said it to my son. I'm like, what do you think? And they're like, this is amazing. We didn't even know that this was the right color. So what made you decide that it should be that color instead of this bright orange that we had suggested?
um, yeah, about that. So,
It's awesome.
no,
So
no, I'm like I'm glad you love it, and and honestly, it's just something that happens randomly a lot of times. It's not, how can I explain it? It's not like something like, no, I don't want it that way. Let me do it this way.
so you
It's
did
just,
it and you thought that's it, and
it's just like, because I know she said she wanted orange.
oh, we're so
I
adamant
said,
about it, and I was
and I
so
was like, she wanted
wrong.
orange, but for some reason, but, but for some reason, my head went somewhere else. Like again, you know how I was telling how I'm very my imagination is very vivid. And I guess I'm like imagining myself, I'm sitting in front of this fireplace, and whatever was in my mind, I guess just,
It well,
unconsciously,
it
you
was
know,
like from the heavens because what we are is the genre, but modern because our comedy is more modern but set in that genre. And what you did is you melded the two together so perfectly with just that color.
I'm so happy you like it.
Oh,
Because I'm
we
like,
love
oh
it.
man.
Michael, who is the creative director on this, he said, as soon as I get it from Manny, we call him Manny, everybody. He's like, I'm putting it everywhere. I'm going to get the tattoo.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
honor. It's an honor. I feel honored. I feel honored. That's awesome. Wow. That's awesome. It's I definitely, again, I enjoy every artwork I do. It's just, when you love what when you love doing what you do is, I guess it just shows.
And to be blessed with your talent is is so wonderful. And we're fortunate that Kismet made us meet in a
Oh,
hotel in Orlando at a
yeah,
gaming
yeah, definitely.
convention.
Definitely. I definitely thank God for that, man. We, like you said, like we clicked like so
Right
quick,
away.
like
Yeah.
right away. It was like instantaneously, and I was like, wow, so, and then
And
after you get,
I think back to that because you had all that art there, and I'm like, no, I want this. Do you do this? And I'm like, that's kind of bold, but let me show it again. Yeah, you did it.
I was like, that's what she wants. That's what she's gonna get. I'm gonna
I'm
do it.
so glad you said yes. I'm so glad you said
No,
yes.
I'm glad we met, and it's definitely, you have given me also the opportunity to expand myself, to other things as well. So I thank you as well.
Oh, no, thank you. And we will put links below to how to find you
Awesome.
and
Thank you.
any
I
other
appreciate that.
information you want to share. And I appreciate you taking this afternoon to talk to me today.
No, it's been a pleasure. I thank you for having me with you guys.
Oh,
It's
we
always fun.
long future with
Yes,
Nerdz Garage
yes, yes,
and Manny.
yes, yes.
All
Nerd's
right.
Garage all the way.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us in Nerd's Garage. And we are showcasing what the talent is doing in the garage. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye.